Hey guys, John again for more replay analysis. This one was submitted by the wonderful user doohickey, and he's a Diamond Protoss, and his comment for this one was, I'm pretty much at a loss in PvT. I can't seem to grasp when I can be aggressive, and when I need to be defensive, I will usually either hold off aggression, feel ahead, and lose anyway, or play far too scared and expand too slowly and just die to mass of the Terran units. I'm also unsure about how to maintain map presence and how to engage into a Terran army at all stages of the game, both mid and late. And just for a reminder, if you want to submit a replay, go ahead and put them, oh my god, my heater. Go ahead and put them in the Reddit thread that I put down below with the accurate format and whatnot. So this game, I looked through the beginning, and it's pretty good. I didn't see any like glaring holes in your early game play. You have pretty good probe production. Your build is pretty crisp. There's not much that I have to emphasize on that. So the real stuff starts around the same time. You do your normal Colossus double forge opening into Blink, I believe. Yep, which is very good. And you scout, see exactly what he's doing, see that he's going for the 5 racks. Or 4 racks. Where's the 5th racks? Alright, well, 4 racks before a 3rd CC build. And so you know you should be a defensive at this point. Maybe you don't. So now I'm telling you, you should be a defensive. This build in general should be a defensive. There's no real room for you to do any sort of early aggression, and your units are strong on the defensive, like together. You don't really have any opportunity to be going across the map with this kind of army at this stage of the game, especially with double upgrades. So, especially if you see them going for the more racks of core 3rd CC, you want to be staying defensive and expect drops and aggression and whatnot. If they go for the 3rd CC before those 2 extra racks, then you can be a little greedier, get a faster 3rd, and just know that even if they do some form of harassment, it's not going to be as crazy as a 5 racks. So, for this game, starting with this engagement, I'll just take some notes on this. You win the engagement, but not as well as you should. So he comes in here, you see what he's doing. The first thing I'm going to note is that you have no sentries with this. You have 1 sentry, but it's all the way over here. It should be with your army. There's no reason for it not to be. Guardian Shield is amazing to cover your entire army so that you don't get dealt as much damage, obviously. And Force Field is wonderful for keeping the units away and keeping them in a certain area, which is extremely important to why this battle went not as in your favor as it could have. So what happens here is he goes and stims up and he targets your Colossus because he has no Vikings. The only I'm pointing with my fucking finger instead of the mouse. There's no Vikings here. The only way he's going to get on top of your Colossus if he just clicks on them, which is what he does. And you lose 2 Colossus for pretty much his entire army, which is honestly it's a pretty decent trade. Like, you're fine. That was good. Like, you're fine. You could have blinked over it a little earlier to pick off those rotating medevacs, so you would have killed literally everything. So right now you're ahead. I would say you're ahead, but that could have gone better. That could have gone better. So if you had that sentry with you, maybe even 1 or 2 more, what you do, you see him running towards you. If you see him running towards you like that, don't think he's bad and he's just move commanding. It means he's going for your Colossus because he's just bypassing everything else. So you should be able to preempt that and move your Colossus back right here, and then this sentry over here should be used to put force fields here. You don't really need them here because your zealots are going to block this, but mostly here and here around this area. So what you would be doing when he's running up here, you'd move your Colossus back and then force field up here. And all of a sudden, look at the way he engages. This comes around to the back and is able to snipe the other 2. Putting the force fields in this area, I'm using my hands again, would completely restrict him into this box right here, and he would be forced to move back instead of in. and then you would have saved all 3 of your Colossus, and then you can blink forward, because he already sacrificed a lot of his stuff, so you're going to win the fight anyway, so you can still blink forward and kill off any retreating units, and then the Medivacs. And so you would have won this engagement even more convincingly than you already did, and you could have just straight counterattacked right after that, and he would have had nothing, and you would have straight just won the game right there. But it goes on a little bit, because maybe you don't have that killer instinct yet or something. So, okay, so you notice that that was a good fight, and that you should be attacking. One thing you forget as well, this Mothership Core, I'll note this. You want to be going after this like right away. You don't want to make any pauses. After a convincing fight like that, where you kill up that much stuff, you want to be going immediately, so that way they don't have any chance to regroup and remake anything. So there's a lot of stall time here where you're just waiting. I don't know what you're waiting for, but you're waiting for something. And so it allows him not only to get some Vikings out, just to regroup in general. He gets some more bio out. And so all of a sudden, you're still ahead, but it doesn't look like you can just kind of just go in and kill him. I still feel like you could have. Like, you should be target firing these Vikings right away. You're losing another Colossus for nothing because of that. Do you have range? Yes, you do. Okay. So the Viking count, or Viking... Yeah, you still could have won this. So the Viking kills were late. You should be... You should know... Okay. Let me just back up and recollect myself here. So your army is Stalker Colossus. You should know that the idea of Stalker Colossus is... The only thing that should be killing the Colossus are the Vikings. So you have your Stalkers to kill the Vikings. And then once that happens, you win, right? So that should be your #1 priority upon entering any form of Stalker Colossus versus MM fight. Right here, I'm going to zoom out to make this easier. So right here, you should kind of have a couple more zealots as well, but that's disregarding the point. So right here, he only has 4 Vikings. You have a crap ton of Stalkers. You could one-shot these Vikings, no problem, in literally like 2 seconds. Like, 1 could be going down right now, 2 could be going down right now, which they are, and then 3 and 4 should be going down as well. They should be shift attack clicked on all of them. All of a sudden the Vikings are going to be all dead. This Colossus is going to stay alive. You have 2-2. He has 0-1. Like, this is insane. So you should be shift clicking these, and then once those Vikings are dead, his bio army is so small. 11 Marauders and 3 Marines against your 2 Colossus, 5 Zealots, and 12 Stalkers. Like, this should be a win 100% of the time. Even right now, oh, you don't even lose this Colossus. I thought this died. Even now, you could still be attacking him. There's no actual reason to be moving back. Oh, no. Do you lose it? You have to lose this. I can't remember you. Yeah, okay, there we go. There should be no reason you're walking away right now. Because at the very least, you can be harassing this mineral line right now with these units. Because he was forced back. Like, you still have the advantage here. It's not as big, but you still do. You can still screw with him right now, especially with your 2-2 upgrades. This pylon could also be closer. Like, you could have moved this probe out over here by the time that this was happening. So, you don't have the killer instinct, so it doesn't end up ending, but there you can see you could have ended it earlier. So then you go ahead and fall back to your 3rd, macro up, which is still fine if you want to play it safe. No real problem with that. You get your Storm. 3-3, I would hope, comes soon. I imagine you just forgot about this. And from here, your transition is pretty clean. You usually go to Storm after 3 Colossus if you're doing this kind of style, which is what you're doing, so that's all nice and on point. This Warp Prism, oops, I pressed the wrong button. This Warp Prism is here to possibly do some harassment, so that's all nice. So when you see him move out, you can go ahead and do that. I'll comment on that later as well. And you start getting your extra gateways, and your money spending is pretty good. Not too shabby. You should be up to 75 probes right now. Oops, you're harassing. I'll pause right here. You should be up to 75 probes right now. You kind of cut back on that a little bit while you were attacking, I believe, and you didn't really like go hard on super catching up. So you should be maxed on probes at this point. 17 minutes is easily a time you can have 75 probes. You can have 75 probes by like 13 minutes, I think. You can have it pretty early. So other than that, good. Wonderful. Great. You're even getting extra gateways and crap. Starting at 3-3. It's beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about harassment now. I'm going to go ahead and give my huge spiel. Oh, crap. My huge spiel on harassment. So basically, I'm sorry for coughing. You want to harass with a purpose. In your mind, your purpose might be, hey, I'm doing harassment. It's maybe killing things and it's distracting him. Is that not like my purpose or whatever? No, it's not. That's not your purpose. Your purpose with harassment should not be to physically kill something. It should be to divert attention away from something else. And the way that harassment is most effective is when it's in multiple different things. So there's that kind of harassment. There's two kinds really. There's that kind where it's attention diverting harassment, and then there's time buying harassment. That's a different thing. I won't really get into that right now because that's not what we're doing with this. But this falls into the attention diverting part of harassment. While this is going on, you'll notice he moves almost his entire army. He's actually quite good about this. Most people will move literally their entire army to kill this drop. Even the small amount that he left here, it's not that big, so it's not even that big of a deal. So you'll be able to kill this with literally any army. So notice he moves basically everything to kill this. This drop should be diverting his attention to something else, either here or here, namely your army. It's very easy to deal with harassment at one point. It's not easy to deal with anything more than that. Once there becomes 2, 3 plus, even 3 is ridiculous, different points of harassment, it becomes so much harder for anyone to deal with that. So to make your harassment so much better is simply to have presence on the map with something else besides the one drop. If your army was just poking at the front of his base, either before or after this drop happened, there would be so much more worth out of this drop. Like you don't even understand. Like if you were just poking at this ramp, not only does he potentially A-move everything over here and then you get a free base kill, or he keeps everything at the third and then you get a bunch of shit done in here. Those are like the two extremes. Those are like the good things, the really good things. Oops, I hit my mic. The two really good things that could happen with that situation. What it also can do is split attention and make them hesitant. So they'll sit at the third, not knowing if they should attack your army or defend the drop, and all of a sudden you're doing things in both places, and that's like even freaking better, because one, you're maybe killing SCVs or whatever over here, and this drop is doing a maximum amount of damage, killing reactors, supply depots, SCVs, whatever, because he's not committing to either of them. And just having your army present over here poking is gonna achieve that, while the War Prism is also doing that thing. Doing them at the same time is what does it. You don't even have to be like really paying attention to the drop or trying to micro your heart out with the army. Just having it, just making him aware that the army is there will make this drop infinitely better every time. And so you should always be attacking or harassing with 2 or more different things. And that's harassing with a purpose to divert attention, so that way you can get a maximum effectiveness out of whatever drop you're doing and whatever harassment that you're doing. And this obviously makes, when you do 3 things, makes it even harder. 4 things, if you can somehow fucking do that. I don't know if you're like fucking god or hero or whatever that you can do that. So always attack, always harass with a purpose, and make it one or two things at a time, or two or more things at a time. So this deals, still deals like a decent amount of damage because you get a reactor, you get an armory. That's not bad at all. He's gonna have to wait for this. He's gonna have to rebuild it in time for this +3 armor to start. So it still was a decent amount, but other than that, it didn't really do anything. Like, because you're not going to be making any use out of what you did here. This game goes on for another 20 minutes or 10 minutes. Him not having a reactor on that starport and not having an army when his 2-2 is already started, it's not going to impact the 31st minute, because you didn't actually do anything to take advantage of that. What you could be doing is poking him right now and trying to get some map presence and taking advantage of the fact that he only has 7 Vikings versus your 4 Colossus. That's making use of a harassment. Sitting back here doing nothing isn't actually doing it. That harassment may as well have never happened by the time this game ends, because it literally didn't, because you didn't do anything to actually capitalize on what damage you did. So from here, other than that, again, your 4th timings and your macro, again, you could still have some more probes. In general, it's pretty good. Like, your money isn't going crazy high. Only just now is it, because you're kind of moving on the map. You're just missing warp and cycle or something. So in general, your macro is not that bad. That storm was disgustingly good. That was very nice. Like right here, this is what I'm talking about. He knows you're right here. He knows he's about to die because he sees your army here. Go harass him. All of a sudden, he's going to be split attention-wise. What the hell is he going to do? Is he going to defend, allocate a lot of his army to go defend that drop? Or is he going to know that you're about to attack him and keep everything at the natural? Or the 3rd. Either way, you're going to get damage done somewhere, because more than likely, he's not capable of dealing with 2 different fronts at the same time. Freaking people in GM can't even do that properly most of the time. So if you're in Diamond, unless you're like really far behind and he's a god, like he's not gonna be able to do it well. Even right here, you can just be kind of poking at this under here to cancel this. I always like doing that, abusing this ledge. That's always beautiful and nice. So this is a perfect example of how you could be using that harassment to your advantage. So he's going to be doing some, or you're going to be doing some little dances here with the Ghosts and the High Templar. This is always just a pain. You kind of just have to be paying attention usually and just keep stuff out of range and put your stuff in range in the right time and just have good reactions. It's kind of difficult. And then this engagement happens, and I feel like it should go better, but it doesn't for some reason. I'm not entirely sure on that reason. I think you don't attack with everything right away. So first off, ooh, did you move command? So some of this wasn't attacking right away. No, you don't move command, so that's all good. He's really bunched up. These get wrecked? No, you get the storms off. The Vikings live. Okay, so right here, again, the Stalkers should be focusing the Vikings. You want to reposition those so that way they can easily get on top of the Vikings. He just kind of he stays in this really big clump. So what right here, this is what goes wrong. A lot of your zealots, it's hard to see them, but a lot of your zealots are stuck behind your Stalkers right here. See that kind of? A decent amount of them. That's a good amount of zealots stuck behind your Stalkers. There's a lot of space over here, and also two Colossus that are open for flanks. Take these Stalkers, blink them. Oops, I hit the back button. Alright, anyway. So, you want to take these Stalkers, blink them over here, This frees up your zealots that are stuck over here to move forward and engage. It also allows your stalkers to come over here and shift click down all these Vikings so that your Colossus can stay alive longer. It also gets these High Templar in range earlier because they got, they got stuck a little bit too, I think. Yeah, they did. And also your stalkers are also killing themselves as well by getting stuck. So everything's getting stuck by these units right here. If they just blink over here, everything funnels through properly, and you get to target the Vikings, and then you get to get the storms down. All of a sudden, everything dies quicker, and you can take this fight better. And you should also warp in. Just try to warp in faster. I mean, it's you're on 8 gateways. Oh, what? Okay, that I didn't notice. That's bad. By 22 minutes, you should have at least like 16 gateways, at least double. I didn't notice that, so that's one thing to point out. So when like you're nearing max and you're banking a lot of minerals, the first thing you should be doing is spamming gateways. Always, you want to have a crap ton of gateways, like at least 16 to 20 at this point in the game, so that way your reinforcement is massive. So right now, 8 zealots is not going to be saving your army in this situation, but 20 plus zealots will be able to help clean this up. And if you did it like slightly earlier than when this engagement starts to go down, if you did it like 5 seconds earlier when the fight was still kind of even, that would have helped swing it even more. And then, but then you still continue to engage, and it's a little awkward. I think it would have been better to pull back after losing that much. Like here, just kind of try to save whatever you can, and instead you lose everything. So that fight could have gone a little bit better. Obviously, as I said there, I'm not going to re-go over it absolutely again. But you're still not completely dead, really. There's still a way. You can still come back from this spot, especially because you're still on pretty even economy, and you have the tech required with these double robos. It's really good, and triple robo. So you're still not flooding gateways, though. You got a couple more that were unmorphed over here that you did morph in now, but again, you should have still been making a lot more of them. Your Remax would have been so much better. Another thing too is you want to have backup Templar. If he attacked right after that engagement, you would have been dead because you didn't have backup Templar. But like 30 seconds later, it would have been okay since you didn't have the double Colossus, so it was still okay. But backup Templar, so good. 1 per base at least. Usually you'll get like 2 or 3 sitting over here or right here, or both. So that way, they're banking up energy the entire time. Not only does it help versus drops if they're doing that anytime throughout the game, it allows you, like what the name describes, fallback. It gives you something to fall back on when an engagement doesn't go your way, and they're going to counterattack thinking all your stuff is used up. You're going to be defenseless. They go running in. All of a sudden, you still have 5 more Templar full energy, and you can rain down storms on them as they move up your ramps or whatever. Completely catch them off guard. Boom, you're back in it, easy peasy. So backup Templar, super good to have. Start using them. It won't work right away, maybe, because a lot of people forget that they have them, because you don't hockey them really, because there's not really hockey to put them on, because you want them to be in their own spots. You just have to get used to being like playing around, like doing whatever, doing your stuff, and then being like, okay, he's going up here. Okay, I have stuff at my 3rd. Quick, click over here, get them, go and storm whatever. Or like, oh crap, he's dropping me quick right now, right after that engagement. Oh, go in here. You have 1 right here, so this is good. This is what I mean. Oh, cool. Feedback. Drops are dead. Blah blah blah. So you might forget them, but the way to make them not forget them is to just do it more. So backup Templar, super important. And then from here, it still ended up being pretty even. I didn't actually see the last engagement, so I'm not sure how you lost so readily. The Stalker activity is good. This is good map presence, good map awareness. You can kill a command center, so that's actually extremely good. Usually you can't ever do that with that kind of group of Stalkers. So that's very good. Your map presence is quite good. You have a lot of Colossus. That's crazy. He only has 12 Vikings? Wait, you lose this? Fuck. Alright, so... Oh my god, this looks like it's about to be crazy. So... There's probably some micro errors going on here that I will hopefully address. Oh, that wasn't as cool as I thought. Waking up the Vikings, then. So you see this? There it goes. Cool, you kill it. Wonderful. Beautiful. You're going in trying to poke with Templar as well. Ooh. Ghosts are fucking retarded. So this dance, I guess, happens for just a little bit. Oh, he nukes. Ooh, that's weird. Okay, so, again, your stuff's getting all trapped behind your Stalkers and staying all clumped up. You're not target firing the Vikings, and then your EMP, or your storms, your Eye Templar get EMP'd, so you can't actually storm. So that should have gone like undeniably in your favor, but because you just kind of A-moved it and didn't reposition the Stalkers again to target the Vikings, and you didn't really have that many Zealots either. It looked like it was mostly Stalkers, but that should be besides the point. If you just reposition to kill the Vikings and then spread your Templar a little bit. You don't even have to spread them, really. Spreading is a little hard, obviously, in fights. I even have troubles doing it sometimes. The thing that throws a lot of Terrans off, and what helps, is bringing them in late. Like, don't keep them with your main army and then go all at the same time. You go with your main army first, leaving your Templars slightly back. Let them spam a crap ton of EMPs all over your main army, and then come in with the Templar like 2-3 seconds later, and you get the storms off easy, no problem, because they wasted all their EMPs on your main army, and you have all your Templar full energy ready to storm the entire thing. That's how you get around the difficulty of splitting if you're not as good at it. And then later, as like you get more and better, you do that plus splitting. So you'll pre-split them, go in a little bit late, and be splitting them as you're storming as well. So obviously it takes practice, but the prelude to splitting is the delay in using them in the engagement. Don't put them in head first, because then they get EMP'd in the first round. Even if they still have EMPs left over, they think they did it all in the first round, so nothing's going to happen, so they can just continue A-moving throughout it, and then all of a sudden storms hit them, and they're like, wait, where are these coming from? And they just forget to EMP, they just run away. Unless you're Tasia and you're scanning literally the entire battle looking for them, which they're not going to be, then you're gonna get a good engagement. And from that, that's kind of it. He continues nuking. That's kind of important. I mean, the nuke is, I can't say anything other than just you have to tab through all your bases and find it and pull the Prozoi. It's obviously a little hard. It's just something you have to get used to. It's not something that happens often, so it's hard to practice against. So it's hard to say exactly how to do it other than just do it. There's nothing else, really. So from there, you're kind of just dead, which is unfortunate. So, to go over some things, I guess. So when to be aggressive, when to be defensive, it's an experience thing. You seemed like you had the right idea. Like you attacked after the first main battle, but you didn't continue with it. I guess that was the problem. You knew when to be aggressive, but you didn't know how far you could go with the aggression. You didn't know how much you could have actually done at the third earlier. So it's more just being able to recognize how much better your army is than theirs or whatnot. It's very difficult to teach that. it's just when you feel you should just be able to see, okay, this is my army, this is his, I can take this fight, go, or my army's bigger, smaller than his, I can't take this, stay defensive. So I guess just try it, like attacking more if your problem is that you don't attack a lot, and just get a feeling for what being able to just look at an army and be like, okay, I can definitely take this, or no, okay, I definitely can't. And if you don't feel like you can take it, then do the thing I said earlier where you just poke but also harass at the same time, because then you're not fully committing yourself to an engagement you don't feel like you can take, but you're still doing damage to them while you're slightly ahead through the harassment. So you're not like putting yourself in that risky position that you don't feel comfortable. You're just poking him, splitting his attention while harassing and still dealing damage to him that way, and then you can slowly gain your lead, and then when you're fully confident that your army's bigger than his, then you can just go ahead and kill him. So other than that, this is pretty good. You're concerned about map presence. I didn't really feel that was an issue. Your stalker group mid and late game was very active. You even killed a command center late game for no reason. So that was actually, I honestly thought that was good. You had this watchtower for a very long time. Only other thing is just to keep this watchtower as well. You had pretty decent observer placement as well. Maybe just a couple more pylons around the map to check where your observers can't. And other than that, it was honestly pretty good, especially with that stalker harassment group. So I didn't see any real problems with that, honestly. So good job on that. And then other than that as well, whoa. Oh no, my control button's stuck. Fuck. No. Other than that, your structure count is quite low for a long time. Got to get that gateway count up much earlier. Other than that, seemed pretty good. So there you go, buddy. Hope you enjoyed it.